Let's be real here. You will probably never hit 100x in crypto. If you are smart, at least, you will never hit 100x. It sounds like, dude, I know you're Dutch, but do you have to smoke that much weed? What are you talking about again? But let me show you actually why it's very stupid if you make 100x. And let me also show you ways how you can do it. It sounds confusing, I know, but let's get right into it. So, welcome to the Fomo Factory. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Please like the video. Say something. Have you ever made 100x in crypto? And if not, how are you planning on doing so? Or are you planning to make just a 20x? What are your expectations for your portfolio in this bull market? Let me know down below. I'm very curious. Now, let me show you this. ChainGPT, very good example. ChainGPT at the moment, it is completely flying. We talked about ChainGPT before the IDO happened, and we were able to buy ChainGPT at 0.008 cents. Now, ChainGPT is currently sitting at, let's say, 40 cents. So it's already sitting at a 50x right now. However, is it impossible for this thing to do another 2x from here? It's of course not. But can you actually make 100x out of this? Now, in all honesty, this video is completely inspired by Lark Davis, by the way. I saw his video and it was like fantastic. And I felt like, man, let me make something in that and describe it in my own words. Because it's what a lot of people say, right? On Twitter, if they, or on YouTube, all these clickbaity titles right there. People saying, yeah, this could do 100x, that could do 100x. First of all, you don't know which coins are going to do 100x. Second, again, if a coin eventually does 100x and you actually get 100x out of it, you're stupid. So, and I'm not going to explain to you why, really. I hope it helps. Because if your expectations are 200x, you're probably going to wreck yourself. Now, again, ChainGPT. This is even the easiest case example, because with ChainGPT you could have got into the pre-sale price instead of buying something on the open market, so you automatically buy the lows, right? If you are looking on the open market right now and you feel like, hey, this is a good coin, this might do 100x, then it's still hard to time it so that you actually buy it as low as possible, right? With this one you automatically bought it as low as possible, so that 50% of the work was already done for you, and still it's hard. Why? People bought this coin, and again, this is just an example, okay? But people bought this coin at 0.008 cents. Then it came out, and it was steadily sitting at a certain point at around this level right here, at 16 cents, let's say. So if you bought it right here, and you see that you just made a 20x, are you not going to sell something? Right? And then what happened? It came all the way down. So you feel like, oh shit, it's coming down. It's coming close to my entry. Let me take some profits right there, right? And then it goes up again. Let's say you did not sell right here, and you haven't panic sold right here, right? And whatever the coin is for you, you bought it low, and it's doing fantastic right now. You are now sitting at a 50x. So what you need for this thing 200x is, in this case, it to go around here, right? So this is your goal. But if you invested, let's say, $1,000 in a coin, and it already did a 50x, and you're hoping for that 100x, you're gonna wreck yourself. Therefore, I say it's stupid, right? Because in all honesty, if you turned $1,000 into $50,000, are you not going to take some profits? Even if that coin could easily do 100x, I would dare the argument that it's completely stupid not to take some profits, right? Because, yeah, this might be your goal right here, but what if it does this, right? And you write it all the way down again, then you have nothing. Take some money off the table. Really, take some money off the table. It's like worse. Like, there are two scenarios, of course. One, you sell it right here and it goes up even further and you feel like shit. But you can at least look at your 50x and be like, oh, we have each other, right? It comforts you. So that's a scenario. Or the scenario is what I've just drawn, right? That you feel like, nah, 50x, 60x, or 70x my money, and then it comes down. And you're back at where you started. Then you also feel like shit. But then you don't have that bag of money that, we're in this together. Now I'm on my own. Shit. My bag of money is something that I could have had. So 100xing your crypto is actually really hard. And we didn't even talk about finding the right coins that can actually do that yet. But this is, if you have that coin, if you have that project that you feel like, okay, this is it. And it's even doing it, yeah, try to get 100x out of it, right? I've bought it here. It's 50x as high. Did I get a 50x out of it? No. Am I now a bad investor? No. I made money with this, right? I sold here, I sold here, I sold here, I sold all the way. Now my vesting is done, right? So if it now goes higher, too bad for me. But do I feel like shit? No. I made some decent money out of it. I think my average is like 30x or something, right? So, hey, I'm sitting on a 30x. Could it be more? Maybe, but I'm not complaining. I 30x my money. Tell that to someone who is trading the S&P. Come on. You made a very good return, right? So, how do you make an 100x? Well, you can force yourself, right? So what I also did, and that was also with this coin, by the way, a part that I got vested, I staked it, and it's locked until December, right? So I cannot sell it. In the meantime, hey, it could go up, nice, but nothing I can do with it, right? It can go down, it doesn't matter. By December, it matters, like, hey, what's it worth in December? And then, I will take a look like, okay, what is it worth right now? But you can stake it and lock it, right? Because in all honesty, if I have my tokens now unstaked, I would sell at 38 cents. Because I got in 50 times as low. I made a 50x on that. So these tokens, yeah, if I would now have them in my wallet, I'd be like, dude, look at this chart. Like, it absolutely ripped. Yeah, I'm selling. Of course I'm selling, right? And does it matter, like, can it go up even further? Yeah, but I can also use that money and put it into something else that can go up further, right? It's not that I'm, buying something stupid with it or anything. You can use that money to reinvest. So that's what you can do. Then the other thing that you can do to actually make 100x is not by making a 100x, but just 100xing in total, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, again, let's say, right, we have oh my god, I hope you got in when I talked about this before the note sale, because this thing is absolutely fucking flying, man. Holy shit. Oh, anyway, let's say you buy a coin, right? Let's say you buy a Beam, I don't know, right? And you make eventually a 10x out of it. Are we able to get 10x's in this market? Yeah, definitely, right? Like I said earlier, I do think that the total altcoin market, which is now sitting at 200 billion, could go to 2 trillion. Maybe just one, right? But it's 5x from here. What do you think the low caps are going to do? They're gonna rip. They're gonna rip. That's gonna be beautiful. So we are in a market where we have a lot of opportunities coming, right? The retail isn't here yet. Yes, BlackRock is here, but it's not BlackRock's game, right? They power it for us. But overall, it's like, if you look what happened in Bitcoin's history, this right here, what you see, this chart, where Bitcoin went from a cent to 70K, that's all retail, right? And some big companies here and there, but it's mostly just retail, right? Because Bitcoin is designed to go up because of the capped supply and the demand is only rising. So yeah, do the math, right? So we get a lot of good opportunities. So let's say you invest in Beam and you make or made a 10x out of this. Beam is high, right? Beam, you feel like, oh shit, I did a 10x, Beam is already there. Take that money, put it into something else. Because with that something else, you now only need another 10x. 10x plus 10x, it's not 20x, it's 100x, right? So, two 10x's are way more likely than a single 100x. Again, like if you're sitting at 20, 30, 50, 40x, you're gonna sweat it. You're gonna feel like, yeah, okay, let me take some profits. And you should. Again, you should. Like I said, otherwise, you know, stake it, lock it. If you can't reach it and it does 100x in the meantime, and then you get your tokens back and then you can dump them, nice. Right? But other than that, you know, don't look at the 90x and think like, oh yeah, it could go a little higher and then I'm there. And then it goes down and you feel absolutely terrible about yourself. Really. So make 10x, make another 10x. That's eventually the most realistic way to do it. Now also, like, how are you gonna find coins that can do 100x? Well, let me show you what you should not do. 100x altcoins. Let me take a look. What do we have? This happens to be him. He's great. But actually, there are so many assholes on YouTube that tell you that you can do 100x. Top 5 microcaps to 100x your crypto portfolio. It is clickbait. It is complete clickbait. If you look at my video, by the way, it's quite funny that you think like, huh, but you're doing it yourself now. This is an actual example of people telling this like, hey, 100x here, 100x there. And I'm saying like, guys, this is totally unrealistic, right? I'm more whining about other YouTubers. Well, my point is, you should not go on YouTube and search for this kind of bullshit content, right? Because YouTubers that claim that they have the 100x altcoin are lying. They try to get money over your back. They're pieces of fucking shit. Okay? Let me demonetize myself real quick right here. But it's absolutely garbage, right? They are all lying. One, they don't know. They're just regular investors, but they were able to afford a camera, just like me. That makes them different. But for the rest, they don't have a crystal ball or anything. They don't know. Two, if they somehow do know, they were way too busy, you know, going all in on that coin instead of making YouTube videos talking about it, right? Like, why? Like, if you know that you can make 100x somewhere, are you gonna tell everybody you're gonna make that 100x? Fuck off. Like, and three, this is public information. Everybody can search this, right? How do you make money with crypto? Let me go back to the most beautiful example that I just gave you, ChainGPT. Who made the most money with ChainGPT? The people that got in here, aka the people that got in before anybody else got in, right? They got in low. People are buying it up right now. And the people who bought it here be like, yeah, thanks, pump my bags, right? Great. But if you're finding this kind of altcoin on YouTube, then who are you front running? Because everybody else get the same public information at the same moment as you do. It's not like, yeah, but I watched that YouTube video first. Like, that's not how it works. So that isn't how you find the next 100x crypto coin. One, again, an example is pre-sales. It's how you make the most, right? Because like I said, like you are front running everybody. There's nobody in that coin yet. I talked about GT Protocol a while back. Bought it at the lows, right? 20 cents. It's now blasting through $4. 20x so far, right? There are a lot of examples right here of coins that are doing absolutely fantastic. But, you know, what good is it if you look at it and be like, oh yeah, let me buy it here. Such a good project. right? You are actually already too late. And I'm not saying that there are no coins on the open market right now that won't do 100x. Man, there are a lot of coins out there that will do 100x for sure. But again, that's too hard because let me show you something. Only on CoinGecko, there are already 13,000 coins listed. Now, there's a lot of shit that isn't even listed at CoinGecko. Like, really a lot. There are a couple of million tokens only on the Binance Smart Chain. And that's just one blockchain. So, there are like, well, millions of tokens. How in the world are you going to know upfront which one is the 100x, right? There are so many meme coins with a bad looking website that you might feel like this is not gonna work. Now, if you look, for example, at one big winner, right? Pepe was like absolutely fantastic. Let's take a real quick look at the website. If you look at this website, this looks exactly the same as every other scam coin out there, right? A website made by GoDaddy, like ugly, typical, like everything. It sucks, right? The website sucks. So from the website, you can see like, hey, this is a good one, right? That you can't. It's impossible, right? So what you're basically doing is if you want to make 100x, you want to find a real low cap, right? So you have to go, very much down the list looking at these meme coins and I don't know what. But then you are gambling. Now, the problem is that gambling, it can make you money, but you are not going to put all your money on one shot, right? At least if you are quite smart then, or just not completely brain dead, let me put it like that, then you don't do that. So if you have, let's say, $10,000, you are not going to pick a random meme coin and be like, oh yeah, this is going to get $10,000 of mine, right? Like, no, you don't do that. If you have $10,000, you might do that with, this one gets 100, that one gets 100, that one gets 100. You can invest in 100 coins. If you are lucky, 95% of these coins will not rock you. That's the problem. You are gambling, and you are gambling with like low amounts of money that even if you make that 100x, it's not going to be worth much for you because you did it with a small amount of money. So that's not the way to do it. Again, like I said, pre-sales, seed sales, private sales, early stuff is the best way. Is the best way, right? Again, if you bought Portal, right? It's not even out yet, but it's already the most successful launch on the Binance launch pool. If you bought that in the pre-sale or in the private sale, in the seed sale, right? Then it's likely that you're gonna make a good amount of money with it. And the same goes for ChainGPT, right? With GT Protocol, with all these, well, pre-sale launches that I mentioned on the channel also, basically, they all do fantastic right now. It's that phase of the market, right? Launchpads and such is where you want to be. Other than that, you can be extremely lucky finding the next Pepe, and good luck, because I remember in 2021, it was not altcoin season. It was shitcoin season. It was fucked up. There were really coins, the most ridiculous, useless pieces of trash, which should be completely forbidden for everybody below 18 years old. And they were pulling off 50 million market cap there, 100 million market cap there. Like, what the do people have way too much money to, do they just buy this and this and this? Yes, that was it. People had too much money. They bought everything and everything went up. So why shouldn't you? Right? So, yeah, and the thing is, it's not even shitcoin season yet, by far. Like, no, it's not. Right? So, yeah, that's going to be a blast. And other than that, you can work on a strategy. Well, I know what you think, like, but then I gotta take effort, right, and actually do stuff myself. Yeah, fuck that, dude. Yeah, it takes more than just going on YouTube and looking for the next 100x crypto. It's not that easy, okay? The only people that benefit from that are these YouTubers getting views and getting, these viewers to be like, oh, yeah, you talk positively about this coin and I like this coin as well. So I like you. And they make money with AdSense and whatever they can trick you into, right? That's not the way to do it. What you want to do is learn about shit, right? So again, learn about the 4-year cycle, learn about crypto. How does it work, right? Where in the cycle are we? Do altcoins still have a chance to 10x, right? If it's end of 2025, you will see these videos 10x here, 10x there, everywhere. But then it's less likely that it actually happens, right? Now it could still happen. It's the beginning of the halving year, right? Like if we look at the beginning of the halving years, right, for Bitcoin, then we are sitting like here, right? Here, this is where we are. This is where we are. This is where we are. Right? So if it's still about to do, then we can actually pull it off, right? But if we are already here somewhere, yeah, then you should be a little cautious. So you should know about the cycle in the first place. And that's what I'm talking a lot about on this channel, right? Understand the cycle, right? Because at a certain point, people, they don't care about cycle anymore. They just like everything is going up. YOLO money into this, YOLO money into that. And it will work as long as it will work, right? And at a certain point, everybody gets fucking wrecked because there are a lot of people that are going to make money with crypto the coming 2 years. There are a lot of people that will be millionaires, multimillionaires. But where does that money come from? From the people who are slightly newer to crypto and do not really understand how it works, right? The people that made money here was because they sold here, and who they sell to, from the newer people, unfortunately, who didn't know about the cycle and they bought here, right? Don't be that idiot that's going to buy there, right? Be the one that prepares here and sells there when it feels completely wrong. And if your goal is to actually 100x your crypto and it's eventually November 2025 and you're sitting at a 60x, you might want to consider like, okay, you know what? Then we won't make 100x. Let's take this 60 and, wrap it up for this cycle and just sell and go home, after you bought a fucking beautiful home. It's like 100x's are being talked about like it's random, like it's nothing, right? But it is actually not that achievable. Maybe a little motivation. I just posted this. I went from this to this, and I never made one single 100x. Okay, so also it sounds nice, but you don't need it, right? You do not need it. Just work on a strategy, work on your knowledge, on your experience, right? And it will come. And get off of Twitter. At least off of these kind of stupid things, right? Like which projects have 100x potential under $50 million. Like this is an account, and I don't know this person or group or whatever. I have no idea, right? But he says it itself. It's a crypto promoter. He gets paid to do this. He gets paid for clout, of course, right? That's how these people make their money. And you will probably find comments under this with all kind of shit coins that you never heard of, right? Like any UNU, right? Like it's not even like this UNU anymore, that UNU, just any UNU. You will find all that like here 1000x jam, and you will get like maybe you will fall for that and be like, oh, 1000x, ooh, that's nice, right? Like, and there are all of these kind of bullshit things, and these people are searching for cloud. That's how they make money, right? Now, if they actually were able to make 100x's, then they didn't need to do this stuff, right? So get off of Twitter. If this is what you see in your timeline, man, because this is totally unrealistic and not going to happen. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's like it won't happen to you. Of course, there are some people sometimes that it happens to, but that's why it's these big stories. It's like plane crashes, right? If it happens, it's all over the news. Why? Well, if it happens every day, then it wouldn't be news anymore, right? Because of the exceptions. But you're not the exception. You're unfortunately probably just the rule. Now, at the end of the video, I would like to go over some comments from the audience. Plus, I asked a question in the last video, and I'm gonna pick one winner that gets $100 worth of my own token of Web3 Whales. So stick around a little bit. Let's go over a few. This guy might not sound as smart as most other YouTubers, but man, he's a wealth of knowledge and speak real truth. Okay, I don't know, is this a compliment or not? Anyway, a lot of people like it. So apparently I don't sound smart. It doesn't, I don't know. You know, 2 + 2 is 4, man. What up? But I think I'm gonna like that. What will happen with Bitcoin if the S&P crashes? You know, of course depends a little bit on how correlated Bitcoin and the S&P actually are at that moment, but usually it is pretty correlated, right? So if we do take a look at the S&P on the monthly, let's say, and we overlay Bitcoin on the logarithmic scale, then you will see that overall it is pretty much correlated, right? There are of course times where it's not here, Bitcoin went down and the S&P went up, but overall in a macro direction it is moving with it, right? The S&P here went down, Bitcoin went down, the S&P here went down, Bitcoin went down, the S&P went up, Bitcoin goes up, the S&P is now going up, Bitcoin goes up, here it went down, Bitcoin went down. So it is pretty correlated. So my answer would be, if the S&P crashes, yeah, then Bitcoin is probably going to crash with it. Now, this comment about the question was like, what's the name of my own project? And somebody is so in detail. I love it. You win. So I hope you watched the video. If so, email me with proof that this is your account, and we'll get you $100 fixed. So thank everybody for the lot of responses, and let's keep on doing this. Solid is AI Tech and Serenity Shield all the way. New listings early next month for Serenity Shield. Yeah, these are these newer projects, right? So if we do take a look at AI Tech, absolutely ripping. Serenity Shield, like it's doing well, right? It's not completely breaking out yet. It's not sitting at 10, 20x gains yet, but it's a steady, 3.5x from where we bought it. So it is doing okay. I love the product though, and I actually think that it could do pretty well actually. So look into it, but always, you know, look out for token unlocks, because for example, I am getting these tokens now every day vested, right? And at a certain point, I feel like, hey, I have some good profits, so I'm gonna sell some, right? I don't want to dump on you, but yeah, eventually you have to dump on somebody. So just dump around. Are you still short Bitcoin? Oh, where is it? I don't know. A little bit since 48K, and I stepped up my shorts a little bit on the way up, but it's a super low leverage, which could never liquidate me, to be honest. So, but yeah, in case we get a correction, I can make something out of that. This is an interesting one. Bitcoin had a weekly close above the 618 before the halving. Never happened before. You might want to look into it. So let's take a look at that, because what I said indeed is like, if you look at these, here we go. Let's get rid of this. If you look at this, right? If you take Bitcoin from the top of a cycle to the bottom, you'll see that Bitcoin always gets a rejection at the 618, right? The 618 rejection, and we got a pretty nasty correction right there, 40%. Is that a coincidence? No. We also, if you take it from this top to the bottom, right, you can also see that we got up to the 618 and got rejected right there. And here we had a much more bigger correction. This was because of COVID, but this wasn't, and that was already 53%. And if you take it from this top to this bottom, we also are at the 618. Difference is though that indeed we now closed above it. And if we look back in history, we went above it, but we wicked right there, right? And in this cycle, we didn't even get above it. We just, you know, stay there. So one end, is it a little like kind of, what's the opposite of diminishing? Because here we didn't get to the 618. Here we kind of almost touched it. Here we wicked above it, and here we actually closed above it, right? So it's getting a little better every single time. Yeah, does it mean that the 618 and this whole, you know, rejection, seasonal rejection that we get, that it's now meaning nothing? I don't know. That's why I'm still cautious until the halving, give or take. But what you can also see is that we already got our rejection from the 618, right? But the difference this time is that the rejection was just like 21, 22% instead of 30, 40, 50%. So that could also, be a little bit diminishing. So yeah, like in some cases it means that this time is different. In other cases it also means like, hey, this time is completely the same because we got to the 618 and we got rejected. Hey, how predictable was that? But in terms of how much we went down, yeah, it's a little different this time. Lunchpads ain't making you money if the allocation is only $100. That's not really true. I mean, if you can just afford $100 and you make a 20x, you make $2,000. That's worth a lot to you, right? If you can invest $1,000 and you make 20x, then you earn $20,000. But that's all relative. So for you, it's just as much as for somebody else. Yeah, and somebody else said as well, if you could compound it, right? Like again, if you make a killer out of this one, for example, and then you put it into the next one, and that does 10x, like Launchpads are the way. But I spoke about it before. Like, of course, the allocations are low, and they should, right? If everybody can get into Launchpads with like low money, then everybody will buy the pre-sales. So nobody will buy these tokens on the open market. So the price won't go up. So nobody makes money. So yeah, right. It's what it is. Bro, do you have two channels? Yeah, I have two channels. How rich are you? No, I don't consider myself rich or anything, actually. Oh, this one is Dutch. Having, not having. It's exactly the same. You just spell it different, but I'm not spelling, I'm talking. Yeah. Launchpad. Dude, not all of your viewers can participate in Launchpad. Make some shit for us subscribers who can utilize Launchpads. I talk about a lot of different things, man. But I'm mostly talking now about Launchpads as that's the best way to make money. And especially for the people who can participate there, I've created Web3 whales, right? So everybody can participate in Launchpads, actually. Yeah, don't worry about that, man. Check out Web3 Whales. But yeah, no, in other news, I want to wrap it up. Do check out new projects. If you want 100x, that's the best way to actually do it. Also, work on a strategy. That's kind of what it's all about. Make a 10x here, make a 10x there, or even make a 2x here, a 2x there, a 2x there. Like it's so possible to actually 100x your portfolio, but to make a 100x, like I said, on one coin, it's gonna be really hard, man. It's gonna be really hard. And you will probably get wrecked or let yourself down. So watch out for that, guys. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you do like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe. Turn the bell notification on. Not everybody has that. I can see that. I can see what you're doing. But if you do that, you won't miss out on anything because the content is going to be a lot more time sensitive very soon as the market is about to go absolutely crazy. And then we'll talk about a lot more individual coins and you want to be there quick, right? Like I'm not gonna make the content like, hey, 100x here, but there are some coins that I'm gonna call which are probably gonna do very well because every fucking thing does well. So turn on the bell notification, check out the Patreon down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow.